Hi guys, welcome back. Today is another day and we'll be analyzing another business model. So today we're going to do an easy peasy business model, okay? Like it's campus activewear. I don't know if you all have, worn that shoe or you've seen those EPOs anywhere, wherever you stay. So anyways, let's get to the point. So before I dive right into the presentation, right? Like today's analysis is very easy, and on top of that, it's more based on the rejection model. So whenever I analyze something, whenever I analyze a business, I look for a rejection. I do it in a rejection mindset, which means how can I like reject this business faster? So if I don't find any ways, if I don't see any points where I can reject the businesses, that's when I go and do deep dive studies. So there are like some parameters that I see when I have to reject a business, and if it like and with all those parameters, if I'm unable to do that, then I go and I do a deep dive study on that. So right now we'll just dive right into the presentation. Yeah. So today we're going to be doing campus activewear again. Simple sa business model hai. What does the company do? Company kya karta hai? It makes shoes. As simple as that. Just the shoes that you and I wear. That's it, right? And how are they different from other footwear companies? If I have to compare it to the likes of Bata and Metro, if you see Bata, right? Bata has different kind of SKUs. Like you can go there, get your school ka chappal, right? The school shoes that you and me grew up wearing as kids, or you can get like hush puppies, or the below 1000 range of category. There are so many things that in Bata, right? Similarly, if you go to Metro also, if you want heels, you can go to Mochi. If you want Crocs, again they have Crocs. You have for the slippers, they have they have their Fit Flop, and Fila is their sneaker segment. So different SKUs, different kind of products there, even in terms of footwear. Whereas when you come to campus, they are very niche. They are like those people who have concentrated portfolio, right? Like Metro and Bata is diversified portfolio, whereas campus is a concentrated portfolio where they sell nothing but shoes. Shoes matlab कि क्या is like these kind of sports and sneaker segment hota hai na, athleisure wala shoes. They sell that kind of shoes, right? So that's their product portfolio, and they cater to. So what is where does campus come? You would have seen, right? Earlier there was a big gap. So because see, either you had these unbranded and unorganized ka shoes you have to get if you wanted to go for a low price point, and if you wanted to go to a high price point, there is Nike and Adidas and Puma, the big brands that are there, right? So in the middle, where let's say a person didn't want to wear something that comes from an unorganized, unbranded ka thing, and whereas they don't even have enough money to afford the Nikes and Adidas. So campus comes in between, to fill that gap where it is not it is not too cheap, neither it is too expensive. So where they cater to the price point between 699 to 3000 and 4000, that is their range. Okay, so even in this also, where in between the price point between 6000 to 4000, right? 70% of the revenue comes from above 1000 range, and 30% of the revenue comes from below 1000 range. Now why is this important? Why did I concentrate on the below 1000 range and not on the other segment? Is like, if you would have watched my Metro brands ka video, which I did, I told you, right? The reason Metro could survive in the entire footwear industry, the entire footwear industry was going through a havoc in 2021 and 2022. The only reason Metro could survive is because of the premiumization thing they did. What is premiumization? Because they cater to a higher segment, higher price point. As a result, whatever the GST impact that happened, that 5 to 12%, yeah, raw material ka prices say, the supply demand issue that happened, and the raw material prices increased, because of that they survived, because the price point that they were catering to was higher. Now here, I don't know if you all remember again, because of these two issues, GST ka issue and the raw material ka issue jo tha, the below 1000 category that is there, that was the most impacted. And even now it is very hard for these category, to come back up, and to have the same level of growth. They still don't have the same level of growth, whatever the below 1000 category that is there, that had as pre-COVID level. If you see any footwear ka segment, any footwear ka company, if they're catering to below 1000 category ka chappals or shoes, what has happened is these range or this product portfolio are not able to come back to the same level of growth that was there in the pre-COVID era, right? So that is the business model. Let's see how they manufacture their shoes, or unka capex ya manufacturing kaisa hota hai. So you see, right, a shoe mein there are two things. One is the upper part, and the other one is the lower part, that is your sole, right? This range is called the sole. So what they do is the upper part, they design the shoe, of course, like they design the shoe, and the upper part gets is sent to one plant in Haridwar, and the lower part is sent to this another plant in Garnaur. Okay, so both of this can you see here, and even in here also they outsource it. मतलब क्या, वो इन हाउस मैन्युफैक्चर नहीं करता, कैंपस का अपना ही प्लांट नहीं है जहाँ पे वो लोग क्या करे, जहाँ पे वो लोग वो अपर शू और लोअर का सोल जो है मैन्युफैक्चर करे. दैट इज नॉट what they're doing. What they do is they outsource it, किसी और को देते हैं, ऑर्डर देते हैं to do the shoes, and then later they collect both of the things. They collect the upper part and the lower part, and they assemble the shoe in house. In house मतलब क्या है, in their own plant. उनका ही plant है एक देहरादून में, that is where the um, assemble the shoes. I'm so sorry for the noise. If you might be hearing the background noise, there are like a lot of kids playing. It's their playtime, so I really can't help it. Yeah. The other thing is the trade distribution, right? Not the trade distribution, but how are these people selling their shoes? If you go to Metro has company owned and company operated. Yeah, वरना आप बोल सकते हो Coco model. Coco model का मतलब क्या है? The company itself gets a store, hires the employees, takes care of everything from start to Z, right? Like A to Z का सब वही करता है. So Metro does completely Coco thing. बाटा का जो है, it used to be a combination of Coco and Fofo. Fofo मतलब franchise owned and franchise operated. It used to be that. But right now, since last year, what they've done is they're trying to like scrape off the Coco model and going to completely the Fofo model. Fofo model का मतलब क्या है? I have a brand, right? I let's say for example, like I'll explain it through Bata. Bata has a brand. Bata will give the products. वो Bata shoe and everything, they'll make the products and they'll give you, and you can use your brand tag and everything. But you will buy the store, you will take care of the electricity bill, the employee, everything. But whatever sale you do, uska part of that sale goes to Bata, like the main, the Bata, the franchise owner. So that is called as Fofo and Coco model. Whereas here you see they don't have any Coco or Fofo model. Instead of that, what they have is they have three methods here. Trade distribution का मतलब क्या है? Trade distribution मतलब I give my shoes to the small retailers and all. You would have seen, right? An independent showroom hota hai, right? They sell it through these, like they have multiple traders who do that. The second thing is D2C online. D2C online ka matlab kya hai? Selling it through Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, all the e-commerce thing. The other one is D2C offline. D2C offline is of course your exclusive brand outlet in Khai, which is of course in here case it is a Coco model. The company owns it and company operates it, right? That is that. Trade distribution, if you see over the years, the trade distribution come hota hi ja rahe. The percentage of trade, the percentage of revenue that is coming from trade distribution come hote ja rahe. On the other hand, D2C online or offline ka jo hai, wo badta hi ja raha hai. D2C online matlab, like I told you, the e-commerce website, of course, right? You want to buy a shoe. These days, it is easier to go and buy the shoe through like a third-party channel like Amazon and Flipkart, right? Than having their own app. So that's that. Now, see, whenever I analyze a business, right, I look at the first thing in my checklist that I see is for growth. Like, agar top line ka growth hai. And when I talk about consumption business, there are two kinds of growth. Ek hota hai volume growth, ek hota hai value growth. Volume growth comes by selling more of your own products, right? And this can come again, of course, you have to increase your distribution channel or you have to open new stores. From these two ways, you get your volume growth, right? And the other one is your value growth. Value growth kaise aata hai? Value growth comes from increasing the price, right? Aap thoda price hike loge. Now I want both, right? As an investor, I will need both volume growth and value growth. But even in here also, I would also prefer volume growth greater than value growth, because see, आप कितने देर तक price increase करोगे, right? You see, if you were like, how do I tell you? You need a mix of both volume and value growth. You can't just have volume growth. You can't just have value growth. I'll tell you why. Value growth नहीं होगा तो of course it clearly tells you that you don't have pricing power. आप price increase नहीं कर सकते, right? And then tomorrow any situation happens, like downturn happens, your margins will get squeezed. That's one thing. Volume, if you have only value growth का मतलब क्या है? आपको जो क्या है, the revenue is increasing by आप जो एक product का price increase करते जा रहे हो, which means what, last time it was maybe 50 rupees, this time it is 100 rupees. Because of that price increase, आपका revenue बढ़ रहा है. Why this is bad? If your product has only value growth, it shows that आपका scalability नहीं है. Think for the likes of Gucci and all these big brands like BMW, they are not volume growth, right? How many people in the streets do you see buying BMW and Gucci? No, but it is a value growth. They sell maybe less product, but since they sell it to a higher price, you see that they have that value growth. But as a result, you understand that it is not a scalable model. So for me, I need scalability in my business. With whatever business I'm investing, I need scalability, and that scalability comes from, of course, volume and value growth. आप देख सकते हो यहाँ पे the volume growth has clearly declined. मतलब क्या है? In Q4 FY23, they did 5.5 million pairs of shoes. Okay. And in Q4 FY22, the last time they did 5.6 million pairs of shoes. Can you see there is a volume decline happening on a year on year basis? I will not do a Q on Q basis because आप जब भी आप एक कंजप्शन बिजनेस को देखते हो, राइट, द Q3 will be the best quarter for them. Why? Because in Q3 ना there are many festivals and holidays that happens, and people tend to shop a lot, right? If you are in Dasara and Diwali, that's a usual thing we do shop, right? Because festival है, नया चीज लाना है. As a result, you'll see all the consumption business will have Q3 as their highest. In Q4 क्या होता है? End of season sale होता है, right? End of season sale मतलब क्या होता है? You'll have a lot of inventories. You know you can't take it forward to another quarter or the next financial year, and you have to get rid of this inventory. So अब क्या करते हो? थोड़ा कम दाम में बेचते हो. You would have seen ना end of season sale लिखा होता है. I don't know if you're a girl, you would have seen Zara का end of season sale था last week, right? So that's how it is, right? So Q4 का क्या होता है? Because of that, the revenue and the margins of course drops a little bit. That is why I don't want do a QOQ comparison. हम year on year देखते हैं. Even in year on year, can you see that the volume that is a main thing in consumption business, volume and value, you see that it has reduced by 2.1%, whereas metro ka volume has grown by 20%. The second thing, the value ka matlab price increase kaise hua? Price increase, if you see, they've hardly taken a price increase of 2% here. That's it. Whereas in metro, the average sale price that is there, the price hike that it took was around 6 to 7%. The average selling price increased by 6 to 7%, right? Even if I have to do a year-on-year comparison between campus, the ASP of last year was 3 to 4%. I'm not sure if it is 3 or 4, but it is in that range only. And here, this year, the same time, they have done an ASP of 2%. Can you see on both ranges, growth bhi gata, growth mein kya gata, volume bhi gata, value bhi gata, right? So clearly, the first point of mera checklist jo hai, it gets completely out. In first point only, it becomes, when a cricketer goes and, first ball mein like out ho jata hai. It's like that. Bad example. Okay. The second thing is, see, of course, volume can be down, right? But we need to see if this volume can be recovered or not. Like if there is a chance or that recovery, and we know that market is a forward looking engine. वहाँ पे अगर, of course, if it is a forward looking engine, you'll see that stock, if they tell like अभी तो volume घटा है, but we see that the demand is increasing, ऐसा कुछ अगर management बोलता है ना, immediately the stock will, because a market is a forward looking engine, the stock will react. So here, even if you see demand में क्या हो रहा है, like जो cater करते हैं, right? They have like different levels of like different cities they're catering to. Metro cities, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 and tier 4, right? What they're seeing is that in metro cities and in tier 1 cities, for their brand, that they see that campus का जो है, there is premiumization happening. So of course, that they didn't see. What do you tell, that they didn't see any kind of impact. But in tier 2 and tier 3, जहाँ पे वो cater करते हैं, ज़्यादा भी cater करते हैं, वहाँ पे क्या है, because of all this inflation and other things, they are seeing a downturn. ये down trading phenomena. ये down trading phenomena क्या होता है? Which means what? Let's say if you were buying आज 3,000 rupees का shoe, because if certain things, आप क्या बोले, certain problems, you will buy आज instead of 3,000, 2,000. और उसी like you'll go to like how to tell, एक सस्ता चीज खरीदोगे instead of that. You would have seen this also happen in the paints industry. Paints industry में भी यही हुआ था. There was a down trading happening. You would have seen Hemant Jain of Indigo Paints also, and even in Asian Paints also, they re-emphasize this. This time, whatever उनका जो volume and value का इतना impact हुआ था is because people started down trading, right? Like instead of buying that luxury paints, they were going for like the enamel. जो enamel खरीद रहा था, वो पुट्टी और primer खरीदने लगा. Okay, I'm digressing here. The second thing is here, I told you, right? Can you see here? Remember we spoke about this. Trade distribution. मतलब क्या? Like I told you, they give the product to the small traders and they sell it and give the money back. So वहाँ पे भी क्या हुआ? The reason for that, you're seeing that the trade distribution कम होता जा रहे, and they're investing more in the D2C and offline stores. Even if you see इनको offline stores ना, it has grown. The last, I think in Q1 of FY23 it was 110 stores. और अभी जो है Q4 FY23 में उन्होंने 200, like it has increased from 110 to 290 stores add किया उन्होंने, like EBO and large formats, exclusive brand outlets and large format, it has increased. What is the reason for that? You see, these people, वो पूरे इंडिया में है, सो वेस्ट एंड साउथ मार्केट में उनका कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, पर नॉर्थ का मार्केट जो है, राइट, वेयर ऑफ कोर्स देयर आल्सो द रेवेन्यू इज आल्सो दे केटर टू अ लॉट इन द नॉर्दर्न स्टेट्स. वहाँ पे जो ट्रेड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होता था, वहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम हो गया. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, देयर इज नो डिमांड. वहाँ पे लाइक एक डिमांड का डीग्रोथ हुआ है इन यूपी, बिहार एंड इवन इन राजस्थान. As much as I remember, I think in Q2 FY23 they had slowdown in demand even in Rajasthan. So that वहां पे डिमांड डिग्रो हुआ है. ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट व्हाट हैज हैपेंड इज जो ट्रेड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन जो करते थे विद दोस ट्रेडर्स, वहां पे उनका लाइक इट्स नॉट गोइंग दैट वेल. Like they are seeing that there might be some problem over there, especially in UP and Rajasthan. Kya hua hai? This was the same problem that happened in one of the undergarment industry. I think it was Rupa. I don't know if it is Rupa or dollar, but as much as I remember, it is Rupa. Even Rupa, I know I'm digressing, but this will help you relate. Rupa, what happened? They also did the same thing. You would have seen, right? Rupa ka आप क्या बोलते? You wouldn't see an outlet like just a jockey. If you go to a mall, you will see jockey, right? You won't see Rupa ka outlet. Rupa was more into this trade distribution, जो किसी small trader को देता है and they get the money. वहाँ पे क्या होता था? एक लोचा हुआ था. These people are giving their products to the trade distributor, whoever the person that they're selling. वो product sell करते हैं पर पैसे आने में lot of दिक्कत हो रहा था, right? These people were misleading Rupa, or they were cheating Rupa. They were taking the products and not giving the money. As a result, what happened? और यहाँ से उनका 40% का revenue आ रहा था यूपी एंड राजस्थान से. I think, yeah, यूपी एंड राजस्थान and I think Bihar. In these three states, they were getting 40% of the revenue. And all of a sudden, because of this locha, they completely eradicated their trade distribution in these three states, and they went into opening the EPO. Because of that, Rupa ka revenue and profits, just literally took a big hit in the last year. If you can just go back and check the Q1 and Q2. The same thing is happening here also. Jo UP and Bihar is there, na? UP, Bihar, and Rajasthan. Here, what has happened is they're having a lot of problem with the trade distributors. That is why even here they've also understood. That is why they're going into aggressively into opening a lot of exclusive brand outlets, and catering more into the e-commerce place. So having said that, yeah, 1 second. Yeah. So can you see like Joby? Yeah. Can you see that there is no growth, top line growth nahi hai, volume and value nahi hai, right? On top of that, my demand scenario is not that great, right? The third thing is inka pricing power jo hai bhi nahi hai, because you can see, right, the pricing power is hardly 2%. Why is this? Because also see, they are catering as like a proxy to like Nike and Adidas and all, which means what? If you can't afford Nike and Adidas, you come and buy campus. They're catering to like that. Since you're catering to this range of people, this segment of the population is very price sensitive. As a result, even these people can't take a price hike, like very readily, right? As a result, there is an impact even here. So because of all these three reasons, you can see, right, like the company doesn't have a very positive outlook, right? I'll just go once to the financials and just see, explain it to there also. Financials में भी उतना कुछ ज्यादा नहीं है. If I have to, let me just go. Yeah. If you see, can you see the revenue जो है वो भी घटा है on a year-on-year basis, right? See quarter-on-quarter basis वो तो घटेगा because of seasonality. But can you see it is a big red flag for me that you have not even increased on a year-on-year basis. It is reduced by 1.1% or it has been flat. Whereas Metro on the other hand, year-on-year increase, I think it has been 35% or 30%, right? Like 35% a company करे in the same segment, whereas you are like your revenues have fallen, your top line has fallen. The second thing, other income ka, like there's no increase. You would have seen employee benefit expenses bhi kata hai. Can you see on a year-on-year basis, right? It is, I can see, if you're a growing company, right, agar aapke paas, you see the demand, you have to grow, you have to invest. Ab zyada you'll invest in employee, right? Because you can't grow without adding additional people to work. This is not an internet business. You have to have people there selling your products. The fact that even here employee ka benefit expenses has come down, again another red flag telling you that the company has some problem, demand ka problem hai. They don't have any more sources of growth outlook, right? The third thing is, aap dekhoge, profit after tax is also flat, right, on a year-on-year basis. You can see there has not been any changes. It is flat. Asset, if you come to the balance sheet, yahan pe there is no asset liability ka mismatch. It is decent. Book value bhi utna nahi bada hai, right? ROE has been stable. The ROE has been around in that range only, the 23% range. ROE bhi utna bada nahi hai. ROE kaise badega, right? Asset turnover nahi hai, aapka volume growth. ROE ka 3 formulas hai, right? Asset turnover, margins and financial leverage. Asset turnover कैसे होगा? अगर आपका volume growth ही घट रहा है from 5.6 to 5.5, वहाँ पे तो नहीं होगा. Margins भी घटा. Margins comes from value increase भी नहीं हो रहा है. 3% से 2% हुआ है. And the third thing is financial leverage. Financial leverage कैसे आएगा? Debt आएगा. आप लोग ज़्यादा store, you put up more stores, of course. Because of that, you might take debt, and because of that also operating leverage मिलेगा आपको. यहाँ पे operating leverage भी नहीं है. As you can see, right? You would have seen that the revenue is flat as well as the PAT, where there is no operating leverage here. So combine all of these three things, how will your ROE increase, right? Agar aap dekhte ho, let's say even in the cash flows, you will see that the profit before tax on a year-on-year basis also has reduced. Can you see 171 crores to 156? Like, meh. And after all your depreciation working capital कितना हुआ है 274 versus 250, right? यहाँ पे देखो आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं पैसा. Can you see here? One is inventories. Yeah, inventories क्यों बढ़ा है? Because the entire footwear segment is going through that BIS का regulation, right? BIS मतलब it is a regulatory body of the government which will tell you like the standard you need to have for your raw materials that you use in footwear. Just like example, have you seen when the entire jewelry industry also had that BIS regulatory came, right? Because a lot of people were getting cheated with gold. So BIS came, interfered, and they told all the jewelry suppliers that you have to have that 916 ka hallmark. That was an indication of the quality. 916 hallmark, yeah, KTM, and all of that. Similarly, here BIS is coming and regulating because of course, so that you use a better quality. It becomes better for the customers, as well as you have a standard. So because of that, they have increased inventory. That's one thing. The second thing, can you see receivables? Receivables bada hai, right? Which means what? 38 crores tha, abhi 52 crores hai, right? It is a massive. I mean, if you take in terms of percentage, it is still a big increase, right? 38 to 52. Why here? Because remember that trade distribution ko main bol rahi thi, wo thoda locha chal raha hai wahan pe. It's because of that only. Which means what? Earlier, you're selling a product and you are not getting 38 crores. Right now, you're selling a product and not getting 52 crores. So understand that. So even receivables has gone up, right? After all your working capital changes, you would have seen that the cash flows, net cash generated from operating activities has increased. Later, of course, because they have all this money getting from through some investments, then this money is going for two places. One is क्या बोलते हैं प्लांट प्रॉपर्टी एंड इक्विपमेंट. प्लांट प्रॉपर्टी एंड इक्विपमेंट, लाइक आई टोल्ड यू, उनका जो एबीओ का काउंट है वो बढ़ा है, राइट, फ्रॉम 110 to 200, right? Because of that, and the other part goes into repayment of loan, right? And they're not giving any dividend. Other than that, they're not giving any dividend, right? So overall, you can see, if I see the free cash flow, the free cash flow is positive. Like if you're such a small company, right, if you have a free cash flow positive, again, it's kind of a negative thing for me, because you why would you want so much money in your balance sheet, right? You can just invest in other avenues of growth. So here's the thing, right? If there is no volume growth, value top line growth nahi hai, on top of that demand is really skewed, I don't have any interest in this company to go further and dig dive and see like, oh, what is going to happen. It's just an easy reject for me. Having said that, I'm not telling like volume growth kabhi wapas nahi aayega. You never know tomorrow the volume growth can come back. It can be even better. So I will continue to track this, because having said that, yes, right now it doesn't make sense for me to be invested in this company, because why would I pay for a volume degrowth of already there's a volume degrowth, and why would I pay like 82 times earnings for this company, right? It just doesn't make sense. So I just don't see the point. So as a result, for me, because volume growth nahi hai and the demand is like not there, there is a sluggish outlook for demand, it is an easy reject for me. Although I would continue to track this company to see if things changes and if things become better in the future. So that's that about campus. I hope you I hope you understood it. So yeah, see you next time. Bye bye, have a nice day.